to stand up for the weak. What's happening, white people? One of my heroes passed away last week, Nelson Mandela. Any Mandela fans in tonight? Nelson Mandela was an inspiration. He went from being a prisoner for 27 years to the leader of South Africa, which is amazing. Just think about how much more he would have achieved if he was white. That's the thing, like, because David Cameron has actually tried to keep a distance from himself and some of the posters that were made by conservative students in the 1980s, like this one. They actually came out with this, can you believe that? Hangman. Now they're trying to say, what we were trying to say was this. We tried to hang Mandela. We love Mandela, we love black people. No, you don't. See, think kids these days, they don't even know who Nelson Mandela is. Basically, Nelson Mandela was like Barack Obama, but black. Obama was at the memorial this week. He was devastated. He was absolutely devastated. Taking a selfie and trying to chirp a white woman. So a new study of 14,000 English speakers has highlighted the difference in language between the North and the South. Different people in different parts of the country speak in different ways. Like, I recently did a gig in Liverpool, right? And I asked the audience what they did for a living. No one said anything. I'm joking, of course, Scousers have got their own word for job. It's benefits. See, in the North, they say things like, all right, mate, excuse me, like, excuse me, mate, excuse me. While in the South, we say things like, get out of the way, you slag. We don't mess about. Like we use words like fruit and veg, while in Glasgow, they say, deep fry that bastard. It's already deep fried. Doesn't matter, deep fry it again. But another study says that the differences are actually disappearing. Like Glaswegians use some of the words that Cockneys use, like Lidl, dole, longer, and benefits. All working people are speaking the same language, Polish. Because within 50 years from now, Britain, everyone's going to have the same accent. It's all going to be merged into one. Like, you're going to speak to someone, you go, how are you? Are you all right, David? I'm all right, mate. What's going on? I don't know what's going on. I don't know why I'm turning in. And all of a sudden, I was speaking like Chowdhry, but I don't know why I was talking like that. Is that what's happened to me? I don't know why I become Indian now. I don't know. The monkeys, son, I don't know why. And now I'm all of a sudden, what the bombo clay? Yeah, dealing with rude boy. This week, Sarah Palin has come out and said she supports a scheme to cure homosexuality. It's called Pray Away the Gay. I'm not making this shit up. It's called Pray Away the Gay, right? And in response, on Twitter, Cher called her the C word, right? This is a tweet. Go to the dictionary and look up the C word. Next to the definition, you'll see a pic of Sarah Palin. No, wait, she's on the dumb C word. Ghostface. Who uses Ghostface as an icon? Surely the real question is, what dictionary does Cher have that has the dumb C word written in it? Yeah, Gordon Ramsay's effing dictionary. Pray away the gay. Pray away the gay. Surely, if you're that confused about your sexuality, the last thing you want to do is kneel in front of a priest. God doesn't care if you're gay, right? Because there's an all-seeing power that knows what every homosexual is doing at any given moment. It's called Grindr. Sarah Palin was the governor of Alaska, which may be the gayest state of all, because it's full of lumberjacks who want to wipe out the beaver. Another story I heard. Basically, a Brazilian student sold her virginity online last year, and now she's trying to resell that same virginity. How can you resell that? That's like having a job advertisement saying, suicide bomber wanted, experience required. Are you ready for your first act? Here, with all the headline news, please welcome Josh Widdicombe.
Oh, hello. The main story this week for me concerns the North Korean leader Kim Jong-un, if you don't know him. He's the leader of North Korea. He surrounds himself with yes men. If you don't believe that he surrounds himself with yes men, I would say have a look at his haircut. Because that is someone who hasn't got anyone to go, mate, that looks fucking shit. Basically what you've got there for, mate, is the same haircut as the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. You don't need nuclear weapons. What you need is a Tony and Guy. There he is. That's him on trial for crimes against fashion there. How do you plead? Trendy. In 1993. This week, right, what he did, he had one of his closest allies, who is also his uncle, taken out by the military. Now, we've all got annoying uncles. Never have I got the army involved. So how was it Christmas? Well, it was all right until the SWAT team descended on us. But that's the last time Uncle Peter takes the last toffee penny, I can tell you that for free. Kim Jong-un is a man who had his ex-girlfriend executed. So what annoys me most about that is he now has a new woman. I know some women like a bad boy. But that is taking the piss, isn't it? Just date someone with a motorbike. Going to the girl, oh, how's your new boyfriend? He's got baggage, if I'm honest with you. Has he moved on from his ex? Kind of, yeah. Can they get back together? Definitely not. But Kim Jong-un is a very strange man. If you didn't know, he hangs around with some weird people, the leader of North Korea. One of his best friends is genuinely the celebrity Big Brother and basketball star Dennis Rodman. That's genuinely them together. That is the moment that Kim Jong-un put down his whoopee cushion. And, you can see the girl behind Dennis Rodman doesn't get the joke. And she has been shot. Dennis Rodman has said, though, that in Kim Jong-un, he has a friend for life. And I would say that is true, because if they ever fall out, that will be the end of Dennis Rodman's life. But he is a weird person, Kim Jong-un. He genuinely recently has had surgery to make himself look more like his dad. Which is the opposite of what Michael Jackson was doing for years. If you don't know his dad was the previous leader of North Korea, Kim Jong-il. Here is a picture of Kim Jong-il. There is... I mean, I'm not sure I would have surgery to make me look like him. He looks like an Elvis wig on a dead person, doesn't he? Either that or he looks like a pickled Harry Potter. But Kim Jong-il, right, he spread loads of rumours about himself to make himself sound amazing when he was the leader of North Korea, right? Here are some of them, right? In his life, it was claimed Kim Jong-il had never defecated. He is a man who never took a shit. No wonder he is so angry. I mean, have you not heard of All Brand? Get some activity down you. The best thing is this was on the North Korean website, this fact, until 2 years before he died, when it was taken off the website. I'd love to be there. When Kim Jong-il came out of the toilet and went, we need to make some changes to the website. I would give that 5 minutes if I was you. I mean, I'm not going to lie to you, we've added to our nuclear arsenal. Kim Jong-il claims at uni in his spare time he wrote 1,500 books and 6 operas. He's a bit of a bragger, isn't he? I mean, at uni, I had sex with a girl and learnt to straw pedo a Smirnoff Ice. You don't see me bragging. He said, whatever his mood is controls the weather. The same as Sabrina the Teenage Witch in that situation. That is just the shittest superhero of all time. You wouldn't like me when I'm angry. It's fucking overcast. But my favourite fact about Kim Jong-il is he claims that he invented a type of food, right, which he called double bread with meat. What you've done there, Kim, is invented the sandwich, isn't it? You're going to look a right prick when you turn up on Dragon's Den with that, aren't you? Oh, there you go. We're going to stick with the reggae sauce if it's all the same with you. I mean, what are your other dishes? Tea leaves with hot water and milked cow? Yeast extract spread that divides opinion. Eh? You have been absolutely lovely. Thank you very much. That is the headline news. Goodbye.
Still to come. Romesh, Ranganathan, Angela Barnes, Simon Evans.
Welcome back to Stand Up for the Week. Please welcome all the entertainment news, Seann Walsh.
Thank you very much. So, entertainment news. This week, Dappy from N-Dubs has taken to Twitter to deny entering the Big Brother house early next year. Dappy finds it difficult to stay out of the news, doesn't he? He really does. Dappy was the subject of my favourite piece of news whilst doing this series. I love saying this. This is my favourite story of doing Stand Up for the week so far. I can't wait to tell you. It's brilliant. It's a beautiful sentence. Dappy from N-Dubs was kicked in the face by a horse. That's incredible, wasn't it? Dappy from N-Dubs was kicked in the face by a horse. It just cheers me up saying that. Dappy from N-Dubs was kicked in the face by a horse. Oh, everything's gonna be okay. You just cheer yourself all week. It doesn't matter what happens to me now. That's just gonna cheer me up. I could be stuck in traffic, stuck at a train station. All trains are cancelled and a rail replacement will be operating between London and Edinburgh. However, Dappy from N-Dubs was kicked in the face by a horse. Doesn't matter. Walk it. It'll be fine. Yeah, it's going to be fine. Don't worry about it. We'll have a great time. For just £5 a month, you could send a child in Africa a photograph of Dappy from N-Dubs being kicked in the face by a horse. Take films with sad endings. Cheer them up. Titanic. Rose holding on to Jack. I'm cold, Rose. I'm cold. It's all right, Jack. It doesn't matter. It's fine. Dappy from N-Dubs was kicked in the face by a horse. Ah, it doesn't matter. You can even cheer up Dappy from N-Dubs after being kicked in the face by a horse. Can you? Dappy from N-Dubs gets kicked in the face by a horse, lying there. Don't worry, Dappy from N-Dubs that just got kicked in the face by a horse. You, Dappy from N-Dubs, was just kicked in the face by a horse. Thanks for letting me know, blood. That's cool now. Cheers. Also this week, Joey Essex and Miss Universe Amy Winnerton finally got it together. That's beautiful, isn't it? So romantic. Isn't that beautiful? As soon as they got out of the jungle, they went on their first date. They went on a date. Now, notoriously, Joey Essex doesn't know how to tell the time, so they did have to meet at 8:30 Hollyoaks. Dates. Going on a date. That's the worst thing you could do, isn't it? I'm sorry, I can't stand dates. There's too much energy. You have to lie. That's all men do, is lie on dates. We go and we lie. Women, don't listen to a thing men say on dates. It's all rubbish. The same thing every time. Oh, you go to yoga, do you? Right, yeah. Me, Bikram yoga, 6 times a week, yeah. Oh, I love stretching. Really love stretching. My best friend, I'd have to say probably my mum, yeah. Oh, we're really close. She's been a bit poorly this week, actually. I go round every evening and make her a hot chocolate. Yeah. Favourite film? Probably Mon Camembert dans mes amis, yeah. Yeah, it's a wonderful black and white film that doesn't actually end, yeah. It's really great, fantastic. Yeah, I sort of watch that when I'm not doing my hobbies. Yeah, my hobbies, just browsing in old bookshops, I love the smell of books, I really do. Even this menu, it just reminds me, I feel like I'm in a bookshop now. Oh, God. Sorry, sometimes I just get really angry, I just remembered the apartheid. Oh, God. Really does work me up now. It's really bad, isn't it? I'd love to hear Joey Essex exaggerate on a date, wouldn't you?
I've read the whole of The Very Hungry Caterpillar.
We know what's going to happen, don't we? Same thing happens with all these celebrity marriages. They all end up in divorce or rehab. Joey Essex is going to have to do one of those magazine interviews where a little tear comes down his face and he says, my heart's been broken. And the journalist will have to turn to him and say, don't worry, Joey. Dappy from N-Dubs got kicked in the face by a horse. That's been the entertainment news. Take care. Goodbye. Thank you.
Seann Walsh. Are you ready for your next act? Here, with all the first world news, please welcome Angela Barnes.
Talk to you today about all the first world news. The first story that I want to talk to you about today is that reports this week have shown that the NHS needs to prepare itself for an onslaught of over 65s with drug-related problems. Now, apparently 900 people aged 65 and over were treated for taking illegal drugs. That is one Cliff Richard concert that's got out of hand, that is, isn't it? Jesus Christ. I'm sorry, like, if you're in your 70s, the only thing you should take that's brown and comes in foil is a Werther's Original. Then I thought about it and I thought, actually, do you know what? Old age is probably the best time to start taking Class A's. It's not like you've got to get up early for work in the morning, is it? You'll never have trouble finding a vein, right? I mean, you might not be able to afford to heat a bungalow, but I bet you can afford to heat a teaspoon. Suddenly being cold won't matter that much anymore, will it? I'm pretty sure my nan's not on drugs. I don't think she's on cocaine, but then again, she does knock out jumpers at an alarming rate. So I think old people's homes are probably the best place to be off your face, aren't they? But the only problem they've got, I've thought about it, in an old people's home is how are you going to get hold of the gear, right? I know my nan couldn't handle being a drug dealer. Right? She struggles to operate one mobile phone, let alone 2. So I'm going to start a business. I'm going to start selling Class A's to my nan's rest home. It's brilliant. I'm going to call it Deals on Wheels. Think Dragon's Den will be up for that one? I wonder if eventually, like, we're going to have like a new anti-drugs campaign just for old people. We could call it Just Say, oh, no thanks, dear. But like grandparents to me, right, because I'm 37. I'll give you a moment for the gasps of surprise. Fuck you. No, I'm 37. So grandparents to me are people who lived through the war and eat spam and all of that. But of course, today's grandparents, they were teens in the 60s. Right, they're much young. Like Rolling Stones, Keith Richards. He's going to be 70 next week. Right, here he is. Look at that. Just looks like somebody's draped some skin over a clothes horse. He's taken so many drugs, I think his body's just forgotten to die. Now, the next story I want to talk to you about is a head teacher. He has come out and he said that children are swearing too much, right? And now, who does he blame? Gangster rappers, maybe? No. Footballers? No. Video games? No. He blames comedians on the telly. Fuck's sake. Do you know who he's particularly singled out as an offender, right? As corrupting the minds of our children? This guy. Alan fucking Davies. Yeah. Oh, yeah, he's a terrible influence on our kids, isn't he? Like, just the other day I found my goddaughter trying to solve a seemingly impossible mystery in a duffel coat. This head teacher, he said that because of watching comedians on telly, right, he's worried that offensive words would just slip out in job interviews. Now, I watch a lot of Strictly Come Dancing on the telly, right? I've never been in a job interview and accidentally done a paso doble. How stupid does he think people are, right? They've got no filters. Does he really think that's going to happen? They're going to be sitting in a job interview. So, tell me, why are you interested in this position? Well, I've been with my current employer for 5 years now, and I feel that I'm ready for a new challenge. Now, this headmaster, he used to be headmaster of a school in Somerset, right? And honestly, no word of a lie, it is called Sexy's School. Right? If you don't believe me, here it is. Sexy School. Did you go to Sexy School? Yes, I bloody did. Yes. Sexy School, no words of a lie, it's located on Lusty Hill. Oh, you can't make that shit up, can you? No wonder he's paranoid about the language, right? It's also worth noting that in 2002, under his headmastership, pupils at Sexy School released a calendar called Sexy's Hot 12. Yeah, featuring topless and provocative images of sixth formers. Sorry, students getting their baps out is fine, but I can't say fucking a comedy routine. The school defended the calendar by saying that they received no complaints from parents. Oh, well, that's all right then, isn't it? And they said that all 500 calendars sold out almost immediately. Yeah, I bet they did. What they may not have mentioned, that it was one bulk order from a Mr. J. Saville. Ladies and gentlemen, you've been absolutely lovely. Please enjoy your headline act tonight. I've been Angela Barnes. Thank you very much.
Still to come, Romesh, Ranganathan, Simon Evans.
Welcome back to Stand Up for the Week. Shall we keep this show moving? Here with all the sports news, please welcome Romesh Ranganathan.
Thank you. So I want to talk to you about this week's sports news. The big news this week has been the World Cup draw. England have got a very difficult group: Italy, Costa Rica and Uruguay. There's been controversy about this World Cup draw, OK, because we've had all of these ex-footballers in suits, we had a male presenter, and then they also hired this woman. Now, people are saying it's sexist to employ this woman. It's a sexist act. But actually, she's got the most in-depth football knowledge of anyone at a modelling agency. So... What I sort of think that I find most offensive about her appointment on this is that basically they set up this conversation where they're trying to explain what happens during the draw, and the male presenter and her are talking to each other, and the male presenter saying things like, well, we have to take the balls from each of the pots, and we have to make sure that no two balls come from the same pot in order that no two countries from the same continent are playing in the tournament. And then she would say something like, excuse me, what is football? It's absolutely ridiculous, right? I mean, I don't understand why they're making such a big event of the World Cup draw. I think they can make this a much shorter programme, much more exciting. It, dit, dog, shit. I mean, that's not the way to do it. I'm going to tell you this now. I want to announce my official retirement from giving a shit about England Football Club. That is... booing me, mate. They've let me down too many times, yeah? It's like the Matrix sequels. I don't give a shit anymore. The thing is, I did support England. I do support England. A few months ago, I wanted to go and watch them down the pub. Just want to go down to the pub, watch England play football. And I couldn't. And the reason that I couldn't is because the EDL were marching up and down the country. Now, the connection is not obvious, but what this means is that every single pub has got England flags on it, and I don't know why. I don't know what I'm walking into. I don't want to walk into a pub full of racist dickheads, yeah? Or it could be the EDL. Now, the thing is, right, there are actually issues with the location of the tournament. Now, they're playing the tournament in Brazil, obviously. Now, Brazil, notorious, famous for having the most beautiful women in the world, right? And we are sending a tournament that contains the world's horniest men to go there and desecrate it. That's basically what's going to happen. What I'm worried about is that Wayne Rooney is going to lose his shit and fuck up the whole bloodline. Right? Hundreds of years of breeding destroyed by one potato-headed shag monster just rampaging. They've got 3 different time zones in Brazil, 3 different time zones in one country. I think Roy Hodgson is hoping that one of them is the 1970s, so his monkey jokes will be all right. The other issue is, right, is they've brought the match forward. But it still kicks off at 11 p.m. our time. 11 p.m, right? England fans can get pissed up by a 3 p.m. kickoff, right? Who the hell knows what's going to happen by 11 o'clock at night? England playing Italy at 11 o'clock at night, 11 p.m. kickoff, 1 a.m. every Domino's in the country gets smashed shitless. Yeah? Anything that looks remotely Italian is going to get done. Let's fuck up Bella Pasta. Anything. Short plumber with a moustache, done. Il Divo, done. Somebody eating a cornetto, done. Costa Rica, nobody knows what they look like. Any ethnic minority is in trouble. We got to protect Costa Coffee. Who knows what they'll go for? Uruguay, the only main guy that we know from Uruguay is Suarez. Nobody's heard of him. What we know about him, big teeth, tan, so this guy needs to watch out. Ladies and gentlemen, you've been absolutely lovely. I've been Romesh Ranganathan, thank you.
Romesh Ranganathan. Are you ready for your next act? Here with all the news from Middle England, please welcome Simon Evans.
Good evening. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm here to give you the news from Middle England, and one thing that has been annoying Middle England enormously lately is the re-emergence of the nanny state. The latest example of the nanny state meddling in our affairs is an attempt to get us to adopt the Mediterranean diet. The Mediterranean diet is supposed to be very healthy. It reduces the risk of colon cancer, Alzheimer's, colon cancer, and various other conditions. The doctors tell us that there is a lower incidence of Alzheimer's and these various other conditions on the continent, and they have blamed it on this traditional Mediterranean diet. It's very important to specify this is the traditional Mediterranean diet, not the current Mediterranean diet, which, due to austerity measures imposed on Greece and Italy and so on by the IMF, largely consists now of eating dead pets and parboiled espadrilles. It's not all just about the diet, it's about sun-kissed squares and children peeping shyly from behind shuttered windows and Monica Bellucci pouting full-breastedly at some pasta. You can't just Take some bloke who lives over a boarded-up branch of Blockbusters in Stoke-on-Trent and give him a box of tomatoes and expect him to start skipping off down a cobbled street chasing nuns on a rickety bicycle? Listen, I'm not taking health issues lightly. I understand obesity certainly is a very serious issue in this country, and I have seen the future. I took my family last summer, I took them to Florida on a holiday to Disney World, which was a disaster. I was braced for Disney World. I thought it'll be no worse than visiting a fairground on an uncomfortably hot day and chucking $4,000 in a bin on the way out. But I can tell you it is a lot worse. There is a whole area now around Orlando in Florida which they have designated as the parks. Dozens of these amusement parks. They know it in America simply as the parks, and they have done very much for the word parks what Germany did for the word camps, as far as I'm concerned. A previously innocent enough expression, which I will never again be able to hear without a shudder of horror, with this important difference, that when neutral observers first gained access to the camps, they were horrified by the emaciated state of those within. Rather, the opposite is the case, I'm afraid to say, in Florida. 30 or 40 stone out there is not remotely unusual now. I felt like a fucking borrower walking around in Florida. Terrified I would be trampled at any time. Not underfoot, of course, they don't walk, they all ride around on these electrical obesicles, I call them, these. But it's coming over here now. A child was taken into care this week in Wales who was 5 years of age and yet weighed as much as 3 5-year-old children should do. I mean, she may well turn out yet to be, in fact, 3 children in a big coat trying to get into a cinema or something. If not, this is a very worrying... Even if it's not abuse to the child herself, it is certainly hardly fair to anyone who wants to play on a seesaw with her. And I know what's going on. I have children myself. It is too tempting to try and win their love with sugar. They're so jaded, they're so full of delights, and they're so constantly entertained with various electronic gadgets and what have you. Sugar is the one thing. My wife does it all the time, constantly giving them pastries and sweets. Hates anyone else who wins their love in this manner. I think that's her main issue with paedophiles. It's not the sexual abuse, it's the sweets that they use to get the process started that she resents. I can't compete with that. I've given up giving them sweets. I now give them amphetamine sulfate. It's even more addictive than sugar. It is. It's more addictive. They love me deeper. They love me quicker. Their eyes glow. Their pupils enlarge to a really very touching degree. It's heart-melting. It melts my heart. And theirs too, according to some website I could tell you. Government is constantly interfering in what we choose to eat and, of course, drink. They are constantly telling us how much we should drink, and they tell us it in terms of units, which is an utterly useless measurement for any human being. Who thinks in terms of units of alcohol? Oh, I had a few units last night. Ridiculous. All these new measurements. I tell you, frankly, I've never even been happy with the metric system. Everything evil comes in metric. No one has ever described anything as being 20 centimetres of sheer pleasure, have they? Sexual satisfaction is measured in inches, whereas the pain of cervical dilation during childbirth is measured in centimetres. That's all you need to know about the whole system, as far as I'm concerned. And this is part of the British spirit. And people say, oh, but it's simpler because you have 10 millimetres in a centimetre and 100. It's very, very simple, the imperial system. Anyone with a bit of wit, you've got 12 inches in a foot, 3 feet in a yard, 1,760 yards in a mile. What could be simpler than that? Anyone with any intelligence can absorb that kind of information by the age of 3. People say the number 12 is... They've moved to a metric system. It's simpler. The number 12 is a very useful number. It can be divided by 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 and 12, whereas the number 10 is rubbish. 1, 2 and 5 and you're done. It's a useless number, and it's only in play because we have 10 fingers and thumbs to count on, which actually is a fairly biased and arbitrary... There are plenty of people in Norfolk who have 12 fingers. They get laughed at, but in reality I think they may well be the future. Thank you very much. Thank you. Cheers. You're very polite. Thank you very much. Good night.
Simon Evans. That's all from Stand Up for the Week. You've been a great crowd.
Look at the hinges on that bastard. My favourite people are the 2 policemen. I mean, they are men that know they have no respect as police officers. I mean, if you're a policeman, you